Down in the valley when the girls get naked. If you throw it bad, then you know she gonna shake it. 1, 2, breaker. 3, 4, breaker. What's up, Roxstars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for P-Valley Season 1, Episode 6. So at first I was confused because I was just like, is this a finale? It said that the girls were on break, and then it said it was coming back August 30th. And then I was like, okay, that's just 2 weeks away. So next week there will not be an episode. And then after that, I guess there's just a few episodes left. I think they only got 8 episodes, and we are up to episode 6 now, you guys. So I think that's what we got on that. Anyway, the review, let's get to it, shall we? So the show opens with Mercedes and Autumn, honey. They got this hustle going for real. Disguises, wigs, costumes, outfits, whatever you want to call it. They go into all of these different money exchange places, and they getting their $9,000 transfers. Okay, remember we supposed to be doing this with 10 IDs. That would be 10 times. That would be $90,000. Okay, talk about a lick, right? We see Terica at the tennis courts. Terica's not good at tennis, even though Sheil would tell her that with practice she'll get better. All right. Mercedes is there on the sidelines, and she calls Terica over. Terica's mad at Mercedes because once again she's disappointed her daughter. Said that she was gonna come get her, didn't come get her. Said that she was gonna be able to live with her. She still ain't been able to live with her. Like, you just be talking a whole bunch. You know, Mercedes is trying to explain to her like some shit done happened, some things that went down. You know, Terica's like, she knows she saw the shit on the news. Poor Mercedes, she just trying to be there for her daughter, and her daughter is just not understanding. You know, Sheil comes over like, is everything okay? You know, Terica walks away, yes ma'am. Okay, and Sheil was just like, what the hell are you even doing here? And Mercedes was like, because she been texting Terica and she hasn't been returning her texts. She was like, so you thought bum rushing her was a good thing, you know, even though you had been in jail and didn't come and pick her up when you said that you were supposed to? And Mercedes was like, girl, you know Patrice Woodbine. And she was like, yeah, I mean, I know Patrice be on one, but look, I just can't. All this you got going on, like, is too much. And I'm getting tired of disappointing my daughter and saying that Mercedes is not coming to pick her up. And she was like, my daughter? Excuse me, but I do believe that I'm the one that pushed her out of my coochie. I know Cortez is rolling over in his grave, and Sheil don't want to hear shit about Cortez. She don't give a damn about that cheating nigga. She got custody of Terica, and I'm the one that you got to deal with. So you go on and do what you got to do. And like you said, you're going to prove it to the judge and everything. You're going to have to prove it to him, but you also going to have to prove it to me. You know, Mercedes frustrated. She gets back in the car with Autumn, because Autumn was there in her multicolored damn car. I was like, girl, where you get this car from? That shit is almost stands out because it's so crazy looking, but maybe not in Chucalissa, child. So anyway, she gets in the car. Autumn don't really say nothing ever to Mercedes. Mercedes is always the one to speak first. So she just look at Mercedes. Mercedes like, even when you ain't saying shit, you saying shit. Like, be quiet. And then she notices a little pink gun in the glove compartment. And she was just like, oh, you know, did you get this? Like, where'd you get this from? Do this kill people? Like, including your dead baby daddy's widowed wife? Autumn was like, girl, I got this gun because we've been dealing with all this money and all this shit that we've been having on us. It's for protection. And come on, let's get to our next drop. Mercedes was like, okay, girl, you can be Thelma and I'm gonna be Louise. All right, it's good to see these two working together. I'm starting to like Autumn a little bit more. Now we see Keyshawn. She's at a little burger joint waiting at the outside tables for Lil Murder to show up. So, you know, he walked up and he was just like, I don't know what you think you saw the other night, but if you think you're gonna bribe me today, you got another thing coming. And she just looked at him. She's like, I don't know what you talking about. Okay, but what I do know is she pulls out her phone and she tells him how his song is blowing up. It's on World Star Hip Hop. And, you know, he was just like, damn, my song, like, that's my shit I worked hard on, you know, it's blowing up. He was like, let me text, you know, and send this to Lil Wardy. And she was just like, Lil Wardy, like, why are you sending that to him? And he was like, that's my manager. And she was like, and what is he managing? He ain't done nothing. You ain't on social media. You don't have no brand. Nobody knows you. Like, what exactly is he managing? Keyshawn got an idea. She basically asked him to let her be his beard. Okay, let them two act like they in a relationship and, you know, blow this shit up that way. So you trying to be the Keisha Kaur to my Gucci Mane? And she was just like, exactly. The bitches gotta wanna fuck you and the men gotta wanna be like you. He was just like, oh, okay, I like that. I like that line. I'm gonna put that in my next song. And she was like, well, make sure you give it to the credit to who is due. Okay, I got that from Uncle Clifford. It looks like they got a deal set up, right? He notices that she got some bruises on her arm, and he was just like, you know, you gonna be all right? Your baby daddy gonna be all right with all this? And she was like, he gonna be fine. Okay, well, fine. So what exactly are we doing? So we started right there. She get on social media, you know, the two of them down at the burger place, all hugged. Well, not really hugged up, but you can tell that, you know, we starting to see them two together. So Mississippi has a plan of action. Now, speaking of Uncle Clifford, we see her. Listen, I did not know that Uncle Clifford preferred to be called her. I think this was probably the first episode that we actually saw people calling her, okay? So that's why I have been saying him all this time. So I'm sorry if I offended some people, because I think a few people did tell me in the comments that Uncle Clifford preferred to be, you know, referred to as a she, but I didn't know that because we didn't know anyway. So y'all, I'm so used to saying him. Let me try to make sure that I get this correct today, you guys. She's in bed, stressed the fuck out about this damn foreclosure notice, okay? She gets a text message from Lil Murder, and Lil Murder says that, you know, don't worry about Mississippi. She handled it. That's deaded, you know. Uncle Clifford was like, did you kill her? No, fool, I didn't kill her. I just handled it. It's taken care of. Don't worry about it. Now, when you gonna let me take you out? Still persistent, just as cute as can be, y'all. Did you see what Uncle Clifford just rolled up in the bed, just to smirking and to smiling to the side? I'll tell you, ain't nothing like fresh new love, child. You just be like, ooh, you know, everything they say just tickle you so. Downstairs, we see Uncle Clifford's grandmother. Okay, that would be Loretta Devine. She's downstairs, she's dancing to the music, having a good time, reminiscing, thinking about things, you know. Uncle Clifford comes downstairs and she was just like, come dance with me, baby. So she goes over and she's dancing with her. We don't realize that she's blind until Uncle Clifford says, oh, look at you trying to get these steps together. She was like, you don't need to see to be able to dance. She can still cut a rug. She tell a story about when she danced with James Brown. Them girls down at the paint think they doing something, but honey, we've been dropping it like it's hot for years before they was even a thought. Okay, so she sits down at the table, you know, she's smoking her weed. She says, even though, you know, they say it helps people that's blind, you know, all she knows that shit feel good. Anyway, Uncle Clifford is stressed out about the club. Granny, you done saddled me with the burden of this club. But she was just like, well, you the one that said to turn the damn juke joint into a shake joint. And he was like, yeah, but Coochie can only do so much, Granny. The paint is going on the auction block next week, and we probably gonna lose it. All because Granny done signed too many bad loans. She done did payday loans, and anybody that's done a payday loan knows how difficult that shit is to get out of that cycle. I remember years and years ago, I was stuck in a payday loan, and that shit was horrible. Every time you got paid, your whole check was gone covering up the loan. You could never get out of it. I remember I worked hard to get out that shit. I swore I would never do that shit ever again in life. But Granny was doing payday loans, doing refinances, doing all type of things. And she was like, I admit I probably signed some shit that I shouldn't have signed. But you did some shit too, you know. So it ain't all on Granny. Well, whatever it is, we probably gonna lose the building now. Granny assures him that, you know what, don't worry about it. God is gonna fix it. She already knows it. She can already see it. Okay, all this time, Uncle Clifford gets a text message from Lil Murder and still want to know, so when we going out? Okay, sent it a couple of times, and you know, Uncle Clifford had been ignoring the text message, but she tells her to bring her friend by. Granny can't see, but Granny can see. Now jumping over to a whole bunch going on in a hotel room. First I thought it was one of the Kyle brothers, but then I saw all of these tattoos, and I was like, no, that's not him. Who is that? Okay, this white guy getting high in the hotel with a whole bunch of girls and drugs and sex. There's a knock at the door, and then I finally realized, oh, that's Gidget's man. The knock at the door is Big L. He want to talk to old boy. So they go sit down out by the pool that has no water in it, but it has a whole bunch of other shit in there. It was just like, that shit made me itch. I was like, ugh. Big L is there to save the pink, I guess. He tells the white boy that he will hold his drugs in the club. He was just like, yeah, but what about Uncle Clifford? Like, what is Uncle Clifford gonna say about this? And Big L was like, don't worry about Uncle Clifford, I'll handle that. But if you know, she do find out about it, then I'll tell her. You saved my life a long time ago. Now it's time for me to do the same for you. So that's enough of the white boy. And he says, okay, he's in. And speaking of Uncle Clifford again, we see her at the nail shop. Okay, talking Vietnamese with the people. I was cracking up because I be trying to get my nail girl to sometimes tell me about say certain words in Vietnamese too. But anyway, in walks the mayor's assistant. I think her name is Eloise, is that it? Anyway, Uncle Clifford called Eloise on over. And child, it turns out that sis used to work down at the Pank as a stripper. Uncle Clifford was like, you've been working down there at the city hall and you done forgot about your family at the Pank. You know, you could have warned the bitch about what was coming down the line. She was like, I didn't know anything about it. And Uncle Clifford was just like, bitch, don't lie. Strippers always keep their damn ears open. Don't talk to me crazy. Show a bitch some respect. You was the first hoe that I graduated. Eloise was like thankful for what the Pank has done for her, but you know what? She legit now. Uncle Clifford was just like, listen, you need to spill whatever tea that's been being spilled down there at the city hall. I need to know about it. Bitch, you was the first hoe that I graduated, but you best not be the last. Now jumping over to Thelma and Louise, they at the diner. Louise, better known as Mercedes, is a bit salty about and all these views and shit she's getting on social media. But what can she do? She says she ain't never going back. So anyway, Autumn gives her the money for her car out of impound. And she was like, listen, girl, next time you trying to hide Skrilla, she's like, listen to me, I sound like you talk about some Skrilla, huh? Next time you try to hide some money, okay, you need to do that shit right, okay? Do that offshore. Okay, move that money over, turn it into Bitcoin, and then you can move your money all around and transfer it and take it and everything, and it wouldn't be no problem. You know, she was like, Bitcoin? No, Bitcoin. Mercedes was like, all I know is that I better not get caught. And Autumn was like, how you can get caught when you know, taking your own money? So now I'm wondering, at first I was thinking that she was stealing Montavious' money, and I guess she could still be stealing Montavious' money that was on an offshore account. But this sounds like that this is where this money is coming from, that Autumn is moving around. Mercedes is still all in, honey. $10,000 for her at the end of the week. She gonna go put that shit straight on another gym. Autumn got another piece of advice for her, girl. You gonna need an investor, you know, so that you don't be spilling all your money in this one place. And Mercedes was like, I don't need no investors. This is all coming from her. So while they sitting there talking, Andre pulls up, walks in, you know, looks over to Autumn. Autumn all looks up at him. She can't even eat no more. Mercedes was like, oh, well, what is this between the two of you? You guys not talking no more? And she was just like, no. And she was like, good, you know what? You needed to cut that shit, okay? Because any nigga that stops you from eating your food, okay, they bad news. So he over there handling whatever he was doing, picking up his food, and he leave out. And Mercedes called the people over for the check, and they said, oh, the gentleman handled it already. And she was just like, what? Girl, you was finessing and didn't even try it? I promise you, you light-skinned heifers. And speaking of Andre, you guys, we see him with the Cowboys. All right, all three of them together. You know, they in a old dark room, and they got the fireplace going, and they got drinks going, and they got guns going. I said, oh, this ain't a good mix, all these people. Everybody kind of tipsy, and yeah, I don't know about this, Andre. Anyway, he got a shotgun in his hand, you know, and after he fooled with it a little bit, he gave it back to one of the brothers, and now he just wants to close the deal. I said, what are we closing? Didn't we already do this once? Corbin, we gonna let you go first, okay? Corbin is sitting there. I said, Corbin ain't signing that paperwork. And sure enough, Corbin reading over it a little bit, hesitates, and then he was like, I can't sign this because, you know, why are we doing this? You know, the brothers was like, this is the biggest amount of money anybody was paid in Chuckalise, and he was just like, but you talking about the now, I'm talking about long term. Like, we can lease this land and get the money from them, you know, long term. They don't want to do that. They want their fucking money. You know, Corbin was just like, it ain't about the money. They was like, well, what is it about? He said, it's about legacy. You guys had legacy too, but we ought to do what daddy wanted. And the brothers was like, I don't give a fuck about what daddy wanted. If his ass wasn't dead, I'd kill him again for the shit that he did to his real family. So the shit gets real hot and tense up in there so bad that one of the brothers, I think Wayne is his name, he picked up the gun and pointed at Corbin. Nigga, you gonna sign this today? You gonna do it? Okay, Corbin was just like, it ain't no bullets in there, are you? Oh, well, he cocks it like it is. Okay, and we ain't really in the best position to be trying to figure out if it was or wasn't, if you ask me. So shit get real serious real fast, and old boy was just like, I'm gonna kill your ass if you don't sign that paperwork. Corbin was like, I'll sign it. So Corbin goes on and sign it just that easily. And Andre is just standing over there looking like, okay. After he finished signing, though, then we find out that the gun was empty. And I was thinking to myself, like, what was they gonna do if he didn't sign the paperwork? Oh boy was gonna end up going to jail. He wasn't gonna get the money still anyways. I would have tried to bluff him a little. Maybe I wouldn't have. I don't know, it's different when you staring down the barrel of a gun, right? Now, this hot date that Uncle Clifford had that night was actually with Lil Murder coming over to the house, okay? We can't really go out, but we can go in. Granny is a good time. You know, she got all these stories about when she had her juke joint, and, you know, she was dancing with Ike and doing this with that one and all that. Baby, that Uncle Clifford had her on her wig that was real, you know, her natural textured wig with her baby hairs popping, honey, had flowers and all, had all this chignon like tied up right. I was like, you better do it, Uncle Clifford. Lil Murder is enjoying all Granny's stories. You know, Granny tell him how Pussy Valley used to be full, you know, packed like hell. You know, all of the different establishments that ran along the bluff there, but, you know, the people ran them out because people wanted that land. P Valley is the only place that seems to still be standing. So that's a testament to how strong the Pank is. You know, Lil Murder's there looking at the pictures and was just like, well, look at this picture. It's a picture of Uncle Clifford, okay, when she was little, you know, with her hands on her hip like this. And Lil Murder was like, look at you, you was a sassy old queen, wasn't you? And, you know, Granny was like, honey, he came out the coochie switching. You know, Uncle Clifford was just like, fuck you. But, you know, we having a good time there. Lil Murder's enjoying talking to Granny. He even brought her a good stash of weed. She was just like, that's that good shit right there. He gets a text message from DJ Never Scared, like, we at the studio, you know, where are you? And, you know, Lil Murder looked like he not ready to leave and was just like, yeah, I'll let you know when I'm about to slide through. Now people wondering where Lil Murder is all the time. So you're gonna have to really be watching his steps now. Now, you guys, at the Pank, the people not really excited about Mississippi and murder, but she's excited, you guys. It's starting to look like Mississippi is about to get swept away in all of this. I'm hoping not, but it seems like that's what's coming. They trying to warn her that the devil is busy. This shit that she got going on, you know, they done seen on social media, them two posting together, like, you know, this ain't what it is. Even Gidget says that this ain't no good girl, but Mississippi was like, why y'all so fucking scared? She know what the hell she doing. Now she see Autumn. Autumn is now in Mercedes' locker, because I forgot to tell you guys that she asked for Mercedes' combination there. But so Autumn is putting her stuff in there because she gonna be stashing money there. Okay, the refrigerator is starting to get too full. So you know, Mercedes was like, that shit ain't smart, but whatever. She locks it up in, she's gonna lock it up in there. But it was interesting when Mississippi came over, she was like, so what would Mercedes think if she knew that you was still in her locker? And Autumn was like, probably the same way she feel about you still in her spot at the Pink. Okay, well, touche, I guess. But then Autumn says, but I share. Okay, and she gives her the combination, and I was just like, this is interesting, because you're going to be putting money in there, and you are then told Mississippi what the combination is. You know, if she get her hands up in that damn locker, you know. So Autumn actually has another plan that I'm not quite sure what it's for. Y'all know why? Y'all let me know. Put me up on game. But out on the floor, honey, she is feeling herself, and everybody is enjoying Miss Mississippi, and the music, and the money is flowing, the drinks is flowing, the food is flowing, the music, everything, right? Uncle Clifford comes, and she was just like, Uncle Clifford, you know, I'm blowing up. You know, everybody coming to see me. You know, they came all the way from Biloxi. Okay, she worldwide. And Uncle Clifford was like, girl, Biloxi is down the street. Ain't no damn worldwide. Anyways, Mississippi wants a headliner night. We're going to call it, you know, murder night. Because the song is blowing up, and even World Star Hip Hop said it was, you know, and this is going to bring more attention to the club, basically. Uncle Clifford was like, did Lil Murder put you up to this? And she said, no, but we working together now. And then when she looked at Uncle Clifford, she said, don't be Jay. And Uncle Clifford was like, Keyshawn, you better not be trying to run me, heifer. But don't worry about Mississippi. She is in her zone, okay? When she walk off, you know, Uncle Clifford is watching. She was just like, ooh, I taught her so well. Now, jumping back over to Mercedes. She back at home. Autumn sitting at the table while Mercedes is handling her business with Maine. He got his ankle bracelet on. She was like, I hope that shit don't blow up in front of me, you know. But anyway, he got her her ID cards that she asked for. So when he leaves, she goes and sits down with Autumn. She hands over to the IDs to Autumn, and Autumn hands over the money for her, you know, and as soon as they finish these last couple of drops, she gonna give her the rest of the money, but she gave her the bulk of the money already. And, you know, Mercedes was like, shit, if I'd have known that it was gonna be this easy, hell, I'd have been your girlfriend. Autumn was just like, you know, where's the bathroom? I gotta go to it. And she says, right down the hall. So Autumn gets up and goes down the hall, opens a door and sees a girl's bedroom, okay? And she goes in there, she's looking around, clearly it's for Terica. And Mercedes comes in there and she says, bitch, I know that, you know, you can hear me clear enough. I said it was down the hall. You can see that this is not no bathroom, you know. So Autumn is turning around to walk, but then she was just like, but what you think about the room? And Autumn was just like, it's really nice. You know, purple is a nice color for girls. And she was like, I know, but now she's saying she don't even like purple anymore. You know how these damn kids are. But anyway, she tells her how she been decorating this room for 7 years and buying things from here, there, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, you know, making sure she gets it real nice for her daughter. Autumn was just like, this is really nice. Like, what's her name? I'm sorry, excuse me. And she says Terica. And she says, what's yours name? And she says Autumn. And Mercedes has a heart-to-heart with her and just tries to tell her that, you know, you're not gonna get nowhere carrying all this around with you. You need to, you know, bones need to be buried in the graveyard. And Autumn tells her how lucky she is. You know, she still gets to be with her daughter. So do everything in her power to do that. Now jumping back over to Andre, he's talking on the phone to the Promised Land people that's buying the land, right? I was confused because he tells the guy that he didn't get the signatures that he needed. I was like, yes, you did. So I'm not sure what Andre is pulling right now. But Promised Land was like, fuck. Well, maybe it's time for us to move our business elsewhere. No, Andre has another idea for him. Why don't we just lease this land? Give these people what they deserve, okay? We can lease it. We can do $15,000 a month, lock them in a lease, and it'll be done. Promised Land said, okay, well, listen, do whatever you got to do. And if you don't get it done, then we done. And that 15% commission that you're supposed to get. So, you know, Andre is like, yeah. He gets off. I was just like, now how you gonna do this? You got a signature, you erasing shit, and you trying to redo something else now? Okay, later on we see him trying to draw up a new contract for this lease agreement, and he gets a video call from his wife. You know, she looks like she's a doctor or something. You know, hey, baby. You know, he was just like, hey. She was like, what you doing? He was like, oh, I'm just, you know, trying to close up some shit here, you know, and I think I made a pretty good move. It's gonna save my company a whole bunch of money, but, you know, Goddaddy probably ain't gonna be happy about it. So she was just like, are you sure that was a good idea? Don't bite the hand that feeds you. And he was just like, I know what Chuckalisa needs. And she was just like, how do you know? And he was like, cause this my city. And she was just like, you are an outsider. He was just like, I'm from here. Chuckalisa is home. And she was just like, no, honey, home is in Atlanta. Okay, where I am. And she get to going on, and Andre don't like that. All right, and he gets annoyed with her, and he's ready to get off the phone. I said, okay, Andre, don't fuck up your thing thinking you about to be with Autumn now. Cut this out. And then jumping over to Murder in Mississippi, we see them at the studio. It looks like they pumping up Murder Night on social media. You know, Mississippi always got that damn phone in her face. Okay, y'all make sure y'all come down to the Pank on Sunday night. Okay, and you know, of course, Lil Murder's like, it's murder with all them damn gold ass teeth. So when they get off, you know, Murder's kind of jumpy. You know, he real quick with it with his manager. His manager's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why you always trying to go off on somebody? Murder was just like, all I know is you better pack out the Pink on Sunday night. Never Scared is there, and he wants to work on the next hit. So do his manager. Like, we gotta jump on this shit while it's hot. And Murder was just like, can you wait? Like, people just starting to feel this song now. Well, we want to still get started on it. And you know, the other day when Never Scared was here, you wasn't even around. Like, where were you? All right, and so it's quiet. Everybody looking at Murder looking like he don't know what to say. And then Mississippi get up and she was like, he was busy. Okay, and she get up and she sit on his lap and she lean back and kiss him. And I was just like, oh, this whole beard situation is gonna be a mess. Because something tells me Mississippi or Murder somewhere along the lines is gonna get a little too close for comfort. He's gonna end up doing something with her and really hurting Uncle Clifford. It's gonna be a mess there, you guys. This ain't gonna work out well. But back at the Pank, you guys, Uncle Clifford is there looking at, you know, everybody enjoying themselves and having a good time and looking pretty sad that she might lose her place. She goes in the back where the strippers are, and she hears everybody talking, and it's Eloise is there. Lord, Eloise came back to the slums to kick it with the sinners. She was just like, Uncle Clifford, can we take this reunion outside? All right. So now Eloise, honey, I guess that conversation that she done had with Uncle Clifford at the nail salon and did something to her. Oh, now she is spilling the goods. She said the mayor talked to her any old fucking kind of way. Well, that's not surprising. And now she telling them about how the mayor got this whole big plan with Promised Land to do like a whole multi-use community. So not only the casino, but it's going to be an outlet there, and it's going to be a subdivision. The city council could actually push this whole thing through without a vote from the board. Okay, the only way to really stop this is if they have a citywide vote, you know, and people all weigh in. And Uncle Clifford was like, well, you know, niggas don't vote already. And she was just like, he may be trying to be the mayor over Chuckalisa, but last thing I heard, you was the mayor at Pussy Valley. So next thing we see, that damn Uncle Clifford bailing out that bitch Patrice Woodbine. I said, wait a minute. Okay, Uncle Clifford got to have a plan. She walking out and see Uncle Clifford, and she was just like, yeah, ain't nobody descended from heaven to come bail your ass out. It was me. Of course, Patrice Woodbine was like, I didn't need you. And she was just like, excuse me, you was in here for 9 days, and you was gonna be in here for 9 more fucking days if I didn't come down here and help you. You a lie. You didn't come down here and pay no stacks for me. And she said, yeah, you're right. I didn't pay no money, but I did put the club on it. It was up for auction anyway, so I had to go on and take a gamble on it. So then I was like, oh, okay, so I guess maybe if it's tied up in this whole thing, the property being over there with her bail, then nobody else can take it at the time. So maybe this is going to buy Uncle Clifford some time, right? Very, very smart, Uncle Clifford. Uncle Clifford was like, bitch, you better not be a fucking flight risk. And since I got you out, you owe me. Well, what do you want? And Uncle Clifford said, you want that church? How much you want to pay for it? And the plot thickens, right? I'm not quite clear on what it is. I'm sure many of you guys will put me up on game on this one, but Uncle Clifford got a plan. That bitch is smart, ain't she? Now, we see Autumn. She's up at the mounds. Sorry, not the mountains. You guys always like, Roxanne, ain't no mountains in Mississippi. I know. She's up at the mounds like 5 o'clock in the morning looking out over Chuckalisa. Okay. She calls Andre. Andre is asleep, but when he sees her name, Haley, on the phone, you know, he's happy. He's smiling. Okay, and she was just like, I'm sorry I'm calling you so early, but I just wanted to say how beautiful Chuckalisa is from the mounds. She just wanted to call him because she about to bounce. She about to get on up out of town. But not before she tells him that, you know what, Andre, you are exactly where you need to be. Okay, you good for this city. And Andre just laughs and says, tell my wife that. Oh, nigga, don't be trying to tie your wife up into this shit just because you want to fuck Autumn. Just don't do it. And then lastly, you guys, we see Maine. He coming out of a store. There's a little chubby kid that got his ankle bracelet on him. I guess Maine paying the boy to be him as far as the ankle bracelet is concerned, while Maine is out doing whatever the fuck Maine is doing. Okay, so he gets the ankle bracelet back from the boy, puts it back on his foot, and then he's walking back away. And then he happens to walk by a wall that has a wanted poster for a Haley Colton. And you guys know who Haley is, right? Big old picture of Autumn. And of course, he remembers seeing Autumn at Mercedes' house. He was like, ain't this about a bitch? I said, Haley, you best get out of town quick, sis. Guys, that is it. Let me get off of here and get these edited and up to you. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel's for itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.